today we're gonna just show up, quickly discuss about high ticket closing, high ticket sales in the Facebook group world. And also here to showcase my team member, Lydia, here. And have you guys also know when she's around in the group and in my community, she's on my team, and and so you guys know who she is. So let's take a little bit of a moment to have Lydia introduce herself, and then we'll get right on into answering, just discussing about 5 tips to close over the phone, and especially what type of ways we can do high ticket closing on Facebook groups. With GroupConvert Ignite, we consistently close high ticket offers every single week from our Facebook group. So we want to be able to kind of have this interview today to showcase Lydia and to discuss, like, hey, this is something that you can do on the regular. It's not something that you wait for a long time for and then like gear yourself up to. So with that said, Lydia, welcome to my community. Welcome to, of course, you've been on my team. Yeah, so they're saying it's echoing. So Lydia, is there like a headphone or headset or have or anything? Because there is an echo that they hear.
Okay. Just gonna go grab it.
All right, thanks for letting me know that there's an echo, you guys. Let me see here. While she's grabbing her headset, go ahead and drop into the comments what questions you guys have in terms of high ticket closing. Do you currently sell into your Facebook group, and at what price point do you sell it in? What price point do you sell your high ticket offer to? So yeah, so here it is. Echo from Lydia. Who is this? Who are you? Let StreamYard allow us to see your name so we can see who you are. But, Rick is here. Hey, Rick. Hi, how are you? Okay, Lydia, so take us through your story. What led you into high ticket sales? All right, Rick says he sees and hears you just fine. And also, Rick, if you have any high ticket sales questions, let me know as well, or let us know and we'll walk you through that. But okay, Lydia, go ahead. The floor is yours.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Lydia, as you've probably heard like a million times. But yeah, how did I get started here? Well, I actually came from I just came right out of uni. So I went through like the normal route where like my parents were like, I had to go to uni. I didn't have a choice. Like where I'm from, whatever your parents say, you do it. So I went to uni, got my degree. And then afterward, I realized that like I didn't want to do what I went to school for 4 years to do. So I basically started on like a discovery thing where I was, okay, what do I want to do? And from there, I went into like the finance world where I was doing like, I was a financial advisor. So I was working with people on like dealing with their debt, investing, family planning, safety, things like that. So that's where I really like started from, and honestly did not use my degree for a single day. I paid all that money, haven't used it. I mean, it's still there on my resume, I guess, but haven't used it for a single day. And from there, I started doing one-on-one coaching. And through actually one-on-one coaching, I was actually like selling my own like coaching thing on the side. And then I didn't love it. I didn't love the one-on-one thing because it's just, I got so tired. I was starting to look older than my age. It didn't look good. And then at that point, I got in touch with a mentor, and that's how I found out about high ticket coaching and sales and things like that. And I was just like, whoa, like I loved it. It wasn't like, I would say like it wasn't time restrictive. I set my own schedules. I did my own things, and I was making really, really good sales. I was helping the company, and it just fit in so much better with the lifestyle that I wanted. And here I am. So that's really how I got into it.
Awesome. And you also have like you also have hair cutting background as well with the salon, a salon business as well, right? I think.
Yeah. So I am all about multiple streams of income, y'all. Like I mean, when you go to Kim's like lives and she talks about, you know, taking care of her family, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's the same energy where I love multiple streams of income because like you never know what's gonna happen. I think I call it the panoramic, guys. I know it's pandemic, but I call it panoramic. With a panoramic, I think everyone really got a taste of how crazy things are. A lot of businesses had to close down. A lot of people were out of jobs. I know lots of engineers and people that have been in like the oil sector for years, because where I am is like the oil capital of Canada, and they were just out and they didn't have another stream of income. They weren't really good at financial planning and it was rough for them. So I was just like, nope, can't be me. So so I started like my hair thing on the side. I was doing it by myself for a bit and then I was just like, I'd rather just hire people to do it and then do it like a commission type of situation. And it grew from there because, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, we do a really good job. So I have a team doing that and we also sell. So we had like, I do have a store, but with the panoramic, it's just been better just pushing everything online and delivering it that way. We also do like same day delivery where somebody's going to drive over. So yeah, like that's the other stream of income I have. But yeah, that's to answer your question.
Yeah, and when Lydia joined our team, do you feel like entering into the high ticket closing world, like it takes like a lot of time to learn, or is it just like a certain formula that you follow and you're able to close? So to ask that question more like succinctly, does high ticket selling take a lot of time, or is it like just stepping into it? And why is it that some people would feel like scared to enter into that world themselves? Or what are the things that you feel like would hold someone back to stepping into that world? Or is it more like an easy thing that anyone can do? So let me know your take on that.
Yeah, for me, it was, I think, a year-long process, not just because, and that's not for everyone, right? I think it's continuous learning. So I came in from like the real estate world where I was like booking and like closing. I did a lot of inbound from the real estate world. So with those, I'm talking to real estate agents who are like, tell me what it is. Is it worth my time? Do I like, they just, a lot of them, I'm not saying all of them, because I've met some really like cool people who are like, okay, let's talk and let's connect, while others are just like, I'm on the clock, like, let's go, like my time is my money. And it's very fast paced where you have to give value very succinctly, and like, yes, you can connect, but they're very like, let's go, like kind of very type A personality. So from there, and then coming here, which is like totally different. Like you guys are like, you guys want the connection, you want the curiosity, you want that one-on-one like time, and you know, give me that value, dig deep into my pain and let me know that. So it was very different for me. I would say it was kind of more learning on my part. I mean, as a human, I know how to connect to people, but just from the world I came in, it was just like, I'm just, you know, I know you're here to just get the download and then, you know, say what it is. So it's a continuous learning process where depending on where you're at or what you're telling your people about, you're gonna have to find out who are these people in this niche. Like, how do they talk? How do they respond? How do they connect? What do they like? Do they want you to spend that time, you know, finding out what their pains and their visions are? Or do they just really want you to just tell them what it is and go from there? So it's a continuous learning thing. You don't just, I've never met somebody that's perfect. And I have a mentor that's like 7-8 figures and he's doing really, really well. And he's constantly learning, continuously learning. So yeah, and I think at some point you're just gonna have to move from student to just doer. You yes, you're constantly learning, but you can't just stay in the I'm a student forever. You're just gonna have to do and learn from that process as well. I've personally found that the more I do, the more I learn. So like if I'm talking to someone and after that conversation, regardless of how it went, there's always something to take out of it. Oh, okay, Lydia, at this point, you should have, practice more curiosity. At this point, you should have shown rather than told. At this point, like there's always so much learning. And yeah, I mean, that's why I really love this.
Awesome. And let me make sure that this scrolling thing shows your name too, Lydia. All right, cool. So guys, if you're just jumping on, I see you. There's 7 of you. Say hi, #live. We love to have a discussion, and I don't think we do this enough. We go ahead and we're in our world and we're doing like our own high ticket sales. Lydia's on my team. And she sees that, hey, you can have a Facebook group and be able to sell high ticket pretty consistently from a Facebook group community. And then we help our clients add an extra 5 to 6 figures per month with their Facebook group. And she's seen these transformations happen where a client will come into our GroupConvert Ignite program, and within a month and a half, they're doing like $48,000, $50,000 in sales. And it becomes something that is normalized in this world. And when you step outside of it, it's like really weird. It's really abnormal to be able to earn in 1 month more than what a lot of people make in a year, just from a little tiny audience. So today we want to make sure we add value to this conversation, as well as also let you guys know that Lydia is on my team. If she's messaging you or you connect with her, I want to also make sure that you don't see her as like, oh, someone's trying to come in and poach Kim's, like none of that. Like you guys get to know her, who she is, and kind of want to showcase like the rock star person that she is. She came into my team, and it was only like a week of me teaching her until she started like closing. So results to this world don't take time. It only takes courage. And Lydia was willing to step into that courage, that bravery. And she has that. She continuously demonstrated that in her other businesses as well. So one of the things I want to talk about is commanding the conversation. That is going to be tip 1 for you guys. We're going to go through 5 tips of how to sell high ticket over the phone when you're getting leads into your Facebook group. And if you guys have questions as well for high ticket sales, we're going to answer those questions today. And Josh is #live. Rick is #live. Awesome. And maybe this is Delia.
#Facebook user.
Delia is also on our QuickLinkConvert Ignite team as well, and she just collected a deposit for someone who might be joining Ignite. So awesome, Delia! Congratulations. Okay, so number 1 is commanding the conversation. So what is a great tip for our listeners for commanding the conversation? So commanding the conversation for me, and this is what we teach is, and then Lydia will like expand upon that, is getting permission from them on the get-go when you're on the phone at the very beginning. Commanding the conversations mean having them not feel like it's a like hard pitch sales call, but at the same time, not letting the person you're on the phone just take you wherever you go with the conversation. Because this is the biggest thing that I see whenever there's a phone call. Either you are going to enroll into their story and get lost into their story, or you're going to have them enroll into yours. So one of the ways we command the conversation is asking for permission. So Lydia, how do we do this? How do we go about commanding a conversation straight from the get-go?
Yeah, and another word for that would also just be like setting the agenda. So a lot of people like to know what their time is going to look like with you. So for example, Thank you so much for showing up, Kim. I really appreciate it. So today we're going to start with, this amount of time. We're going to be focusing on this, and then, you can ask me questions at this time, and I'm actually going to be asking questions as well to see this. So then they know kind of the flow of the conversation. They know ABC, how it's ending. So they're not kind of like flailing around like, oh, so, and I find that that's the most effective way, right? When you give people that, ability to know, okay, this is how my time is going to be spent. I do have time to, ask this, which, you can schedule, you can kind of put that in. So depending on what kind of call it is it a connect call? Is it a consultation, or is it a sales call? Is it a strategy session? So depending on what call it is, you let the person know like right away, like, okay, so this is how it's going to be structured. So this is what this call is for. So they know what their time is for, and people respect that, right? Because they don't want to be there like confused, and then when they're asking, you're like, whoa. So that's just a way that I see it. It's like an agenda. So this is the agenda for the call. And in any business setting, when you go to a business meeting or when you go to any meeting, there's always an agenda or a schedule or whatever you call it. The same thing for a call, because your time is valuable, such as my time is valuable. So yeah, that's one way of doing it.
Yeah, so setting the agenda for the call, which is the way that we phrase it for us, talking to you guys, whenever you do hop on a call with our team, it would be, hey, a little bit of connection, and hey, usually this is how we run this call. During this call, within the first 15 to 20 minutes, you can ask whatever strategy questions you might have. Meanwhile, I'm going to listen to see if you qualify for any of my programs, any of our programs. And if you do qualify, I'll let you know what they are. And then taking command of the conversation also means asking for permission. That sounds counterintuitive because you're like asking, you're like, please. But it also acts as a way to have structure in the conversation by saying, hey, do I have your permission to be honest with you on this call? Do you have your permission to interrupt you to get us back on track if we veer off track? And just those two types of permission allows you to not have the call just be a ramble, or not have the call be out of your control where it just takes you to wherever it is. So structuring is framing it. So, hey, this is how generally I do these calls, and then seeding directly at the very beginning that the call is an enrollment call, not saying straight up, but saying, hey, meanwhile, I'm going to listen to see if you qualify for any of my programs. If you do qualify, I'll let you know what they are. And that way, it's saying that it's a sales call right away without saying this is a sales call, which I think is a nice way to be like, oh, okay, you're going to listen and if I qualify. So tip number 2 would be, and we're going to go a little bit faster as well. So tip number 2 for closing over the phone is when you are digging into, you want to make sure that the why is verbally, like, kind of like, why are they hopping on this call? And you want to get rid of the objection right away of, oh, I'm going to do this later. So one of the things we do is we ask what inspired you to schedule this call? And more importantly, looking for why now and why this program? Why Kim? Why this program? And that will allow you to answer the objection of, oh, the time is not now. And if the time isn't now, and it honestly isn't now, then why are they on the call? They don't need to be. So if they answer the why now question, then they're bringing, your people are bringing into that conversation the urgency of why it's important to do this now. So the next question would be, what inspired you to book this call? Why now? Why Kim? Why now? Why GroupConvert Ignite? Or why Chrome Boss? So what I've seen is, if at the end of the conversation, they're like, oh, I need time, or I have to think about it, you can route back to the reason why they told you why now at the very beginning. So I'm gonna say that's tip 2, and I'm gonna have Lydia tell us tip 3. So Lydia, what is a tip in high ticket sales closing that would help in terms of being able to either breaking down objections early on, or what would be the next question that you usually ask when you're on the phone with a potential client?
Yeah, so one of the, I say all the questions are really important, but one of the questions I really like is when you're asking, what exactly would their success look like? So success looks like very different things to a lot of people, right? So for example, if I'm using myself as an example, I don't have kids, not married. So to me, success would look quite different from somebody who has a family or who's wants to create something for their family. So that question is, okay, what does it look like? And also asking more specifically, what does it look like financially? What does it look like personally? So one of the calls I had in my previous one was I had somebody go on the call, and this is again, in the real estate world. And this person, with inbound, you can get a lot of unqualified people. So asking what success looked like, and he came off and he was like, oh, I'm looking at $1 million in 30 days. That's what my expectations are. And if anybody really knows anything about real estate, closing a home in 30 days, it happens, but it's not very frequent. It's not the norm. So I'm like, okay, you're closing a home in 30 days. That's 3 to 5%. What home are you going to be closing that you're going to be getting $1 million? So your vision of success, if our program can't help you achieve that, right? And that's just me being honest. And, from that answer, I was able to really, delve more in and see, okay, can we flesh that out a little bit, and ask him more questions to show him that, okay, let's try to figure this out together. How can we get you to $1 million in 30 days, right? This is what our students have done. This is what our people have done. And in 30 days, yes, they do 5-6 figures. 30 to 60 days, 5-6 figures, but 7 figures, that would be great. But that question really helps you determine, okay, is this person qualified for my program? And just because they don't qualify now doesn't mean they won't later down the line. It's a really good way to get them also thinking in terms of achievable goals. If you don't make $1 million in 30 days, are you gonna give up on life? Are you gonna be upset? What's something achievable that we can partner with you and help you achieve that? So that's one of the questions that you want to structure into that call. What does success look like to you? Okay, that's great. And then always come with the social proof. That's awesome. Our client Alex did this in this amount of time with this and reached this vision. So that's tip number 3. What exactly does success look like to you?
Yeah, and Rick has a cool question here. So Rick, I'll answer this question by telling you what I've seen. What's a reasonable percentage to pay a high ticket closer when the tickets are between 40 to 80K and some starting at 20 and many over 100? So in this high ticket world, a program can be 40,000, 80,000, 100,000. And if they are commission only, completely commission, I've seen a kind of a ramp up structure. If they sell a certain amount, then it ramps up. I've also seen a straight up 1%, which is 15%. I've seen 15% be the norm for high ticket program. I'm talking about high ticket program as in you're selling a coaching program. So I'm not talking about a $40,000 house or some kind of real estate or anything like that. We're talking specifically selling your coaching program. And if there is, it also matters if there's a setter to that sales close, then the commission will be split 50-50. If there is no setting and it's just straight up closing directly, then I've seen 15% be kind of fair, depending on how the delivery is, if it's straight up commission on a ramp up structure. So that's what I've seen. Rick, let me know what is your feedback, or what have you seen in that world, because I know you sell, I believe you're referencing something a little bit different than high ticket coaching programs. Straight percentage. All right. Okay, yeah. If you are closed mostly from the funnel, that's amazing. Then you don't.
Oh, wow.
That's great. If it's just straight from the funnel, amazing. Okay, so that's tip number 3. Let's go to tip number 4. And then we'll close it up with tip number 5. So, all right, depends on how warm the leads are. Yeah, so Delia says depends on how warm the leads are as well. The reason why we talk about Facebook groups is because when the leads are generally booked, you need to make sure that, first of all, they're in your group, so they're kind of already super warm. And then you need to ask a few qualifying questions to see if they're kind of a good fit. And then a call gets booked. We've also seen calls get booked straight up from a Facebook ad to a book a call. And that way, the filtering process would be in the application form itself and as part of the funnel, which is like them going to a page that says, hey, this is the expectations for the call. This is what you should come up. This is what you should show up with. If you have a business partner, make sure the business partner is there. Are you the sole decision maker? So a lot of the qualifying part is already before they fill out the form, after they fill out the form, even after they book. Because if they're not a good fit, then, and you have a sales team, it's kind of a waste of their time to jump on this random call where it's not, the people don't have those expectations in place. And having the expectations in place is as simple as a little video that says, hey, this is what this call is about, before they jump on the call with your team. Yeah. Oh, done for you businesses. Oh, done for you is a lot of work. We do it with you, group coaching. But yeah,
Ooh.
done for you is really like involved. That's what Rick is saying.
Oh, that makes sense. Because I'm like, wait, like 100? I'm like, whoa. Done for you. That makes sense.
Yeah, there are group coaching programs that are $100,000, $90,000. One of the programs I was in would cost me $30,000, and the next level up was $90,000. It wasn't $60 or $50; it was $90,000 for the next level up, because what is the trade, right? The trade is, hey, give me $30,000, which is a 5-figure investment, and I'll teach you how to have multiple 6 or even 7 figures for your business. In the coaching world, when you're selling wealth, that's not a far-fetched kind of trade to do. That is a very common trade. People would pay all day 5 figures in order to potentially have multiple 6 figures for the rest of their life, because the benefit will keep on rewarding you after you're done with the program. So asking for $90,000, while that sounds kind of high, is still a 5-figure investment in order to possibly earn multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per year. So that's the trade. So let's see, where are we at? We're tip number 4. Tip number 4 would be, one of the questions we do ask in order to kind of dig into the pain. And when I say this, I don't want it to sound crass. I want it to say, most people, when they're on the call, they're not thinking about the true cost of them not investing. They don't see the true benefit or the true cost of the decision itself, because they just don't think that way. They're just on that call to be like, okay, what's your program? What do you have in there? Can it help me or not? And to ask the question of, hey, what do you think is the true cost of you not doing this right now, is a big question, because some of them might have gone through like years of trying to figure it out alone, or buying a bunch of other programs, other coaching programs, and not having it work out for them. and they haven't given up. The true cost of them not doing this and kind of giving up on that is that they've spent all that time, all that energy with nothing to show for it, or they aren't seen in the eyes of their children, their spouse, that there's someone who can actually support their family or support their grandparents. Like, would you rather continue doing what you've always been doing and struggling through everything, or are you willing to invest in yourself and get help for that? And so when we ask the question of what's the true cost, what do you think is the true cost of you not doing this now? It lets them take a moment to really examine, and this is after there's a whole conversation. This is after they've shared with you the pain, the reason why they're on the call, how long it's been, that they're sick and tired of it. They just want to finally get it handled. And then you bring them back to the real cost. The real cost is, hey, if you give up, then this is it. This is your story. This is the story that you tell your children, your grandchildren, your spouse, your sister, your brother. This is it. This story of, I tried and I couldn't do it. I just gave up, right? Mm-hmm. Or it could be, let's do this together. Let's come in and let's change the story of your life. So tip number 4 is, most people won't be in a phone conversation with the true cost of them not handling what it is, the next step that they want to do, which for us is finally monetizing from their Facebook group. The pain is, you have this Facebook group of thousands of people you built up over the years or months, and you're just sitting on this pot of gold and you're literally doing nothing about it. And you're like, what am I doing? This group is a lot. I know I can help my people. I know that this group can give me that financial abundance. I love to teach. I am a coach. I've taught people. Here's one of the big things. I've taught people and they've gotten results. And I just want to be able to have that energy back because of the price I'm charging is too low. I'm not converting. I'm like, there's all that pain. So sitting on that pot of gold, they're not going to think about that on the call with you unless you ask them these poignant questions to bring them back into perspective. And it reminds me of this philosophy of I believe it's the Buddhist philosophy or Indian, I forgot, but it's a philosophy of religion. And in that philosophy is, there's one day of the whole year when you respect the moon. And it sounds very funny and trivial, and it's very profound, because if you just go about your year and your life, just the day-to-day hustle and bustle, and you don't take a moment to look at the moon, when these people look at the moon, it makes them realize how small they are and how they are just part of this big world that we're on. And so the problems that they might have on the day-to-day, while it seems monumental in the moment and they're caught up in that moment, if they take a second to look at the moon, they see the true perspective. They see one perspective of their life that will make them appreciate what they've got. And so it's this change in perspective that will make them realize, oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe things aren't so bad. Maybe things are okay. On the flip side, in the phone conversation, when your people are going to invest in themselves, it is, oh, shoot, if I don't do this, I'm giving up so much more than what I think this is. That this cost, I would have spent this money on a nice TV or like renovating my backyard or things like that. And it would be a sunk cost. But when you ask them this question, it takes them take a step back. And so they can see, oh, okay, yeah, this is true. And most people on the phone call, they won't think about that on their own. So that's why we have it as a question. I know that's really long-winded, but now your turn to do 5, Lydia.
So yeah, there are like various things you can ask for dealing with the pain, but once you move on from that pain, you really want to get the commitment portion. So the commitment portion is super important because I know a lot of coaches that are my friends that, getting people into the program is easy, right? But then they're in the program and they're just chilling. They're not implementing anything. They're not really utilizing it. And as a coach, you know how much work you put in. You know what, your person can get from it. And if they're not, it's quite painful, right? So on the call, you also want to get that commitment. And the way we frame it is, very like, visual. This is a scale of 1 to 10. Tell me on this scale, how committed are you to, it's not about the program. It's never about your program, right? And that's one of the things I like, just being in this world, like it's never about you. It's always about the person. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to, giving that financial freedom to your family, to, not working a 9 to 5, to not, having your business be panoramic free, all of these things. And it's super important to get that commitment because that's something you want to remind them of. So I know like sometimes like if you have an accountability portion of your program, you want to bring that up when your clients are like, you know what, I'm tired. I know I'm overwhelmed. Your feelings are valid. I understand that. But we do need to, I'm just going to bring you back to what you told me, which is you want this. So to get to this, what can you do today that'll get you one step closer? So you always want to get that. Let me know visually on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to this vision that you told me of? Because it's basically, and this is something that my mom always used to tell me growing up, right? I can give, and this is with me and my brother, she's like, I can give both of you like 5 kilos of gold, right? Now, if you take that kilo of gold and you invest it, or you start a business, or you get in line with a coach that has success and you invest it and actually implement what you're learning, you can make XYZ much more than the pound of gold I gave you. Now let's talk about your brother, Sam. I give him a pound of gold and he's like, you know what? I really want a Mercedes. Cool, get your Mercedes, that's fine. But then what happens after you finish spending all that money? Like what happens after cars are depreciating asset? What happens? Let's say you don't use the Mercedes, you just leave it in your closet. You're like, yeah, I got my gold there for ages. It's still gold. It's very valuable, but you're not getting anything from it. So just the way to visualize that, you want that commitment piece. How committed are you to this? And that's something you want to dwell on a little bit because like when they get in, life always happens. Like if you're somebody that's living a good life and nothing's ever happened to you, feel free to swap lives with me for like a day because I love my life, but still like nothing's ever happened to you. Things are going to happen. And it's a really good way that even when those things are happening, you go back to, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why am I going to stay committed to this for the long haul, regardless of the craziness happening around me? Is because I know the end goal, the end result. Okay. So yeah, that's tip number 5.
Woohoo! We got 5 tips. And I'm gonna add a bonus tip because I love bonuses. So, and also Lydia, you said that so well. It's never about your program. Of course, your program gonna help them. That's why you spent all this time and energy creating a program. You genuinely want to help your people. And when they commit, it is them saying yes to themselves and not so much saying yes to your program. If they say just yes to your program and life happens to them, they're going to think, oh, I need to put aside your program and I need to take care of life. When you change their perspective to you're doing this, you're committing to yourself and the program is just the vehicle. It's just a vehicle for you to get there. Then if things come in the way, that their perspective is, okay, I'm still going to use this vehicle regardless of things hopping in the way. And I'm going to overcome this with the help of the vehicle, with the help of your container, with the help of your coaching. And that makes a big difference. Another last bonus tip I'll do, and then we'll wrap this up, is we think that the sale ends in the sales call. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen for coaches. The sale, every single conversation is an enrollment conversation, because although you sold them on one thing, cool, but if you think about like, oh, that's the sales call, okay, so the next time I talk to them, it's not like an enrollment conversation. For me, the way I see the journey is human beings are flawed, right? I'm flawed. There's ups and downs. There's life happening. So when there is a chance to connect, don't treat it as like, oh, you bought the program and you're in the program and I'll tell you this and you got to do this and, you know, you need to listen to me kind of thing. But it's still walking them into this vision that they have for their life. And every single time there's a point to connect, it's to have them continue that walk. And it does take portion of a sales conversation to keep that momentum going. So for my team, we see every single point of connection and every single interaction as a way to keep on being enrolled into you saying yes to yourself, because one moment, one instance is not going to hold you there. It has to be a consistent thing. Like we brush our teeth every day. We don't brush our teeth one day.
Oh yeah.
If you just do that thing one time. And I think the fallacy to the way that people approach education and approach a program is that they think, okay, I paid this one thing and that's it. It's not like this continuous habitual effort of saying yes to yourself, because there's going to be times when your boundaries are tested. There's going to be times when you feel like, what are you doing? Why are you doing here? Why don't you have the results you want by now? And it's a component of your program that you invested in to realize that every single point of contact is for you to keep on going and keep on saying yes to yourself. So that is bonus tip number 6. All right. Well, Lydia, any question? Oh, so you guys, call to action for those who are watching the live or watching the replay. If you have any questions about how to add an extra 5 to 6 figures per month to your Facebook group, it doesn't take many months. It doesn't take time. It only takes courage. Our team is here for you. If you want to have a conversation, please reach out to Lydia, message her on Facebook. I'm going to provide a link to her profile up in this description. Message her and say, hey, I want to have this conversation. We'd love to help you. In the past months alone, Tyler O'Bannon did $100,000 from his Facebook group in 2 months of joining Ignite. Adam Gillett did $75,000 from his first 2 months in joining Ignite. Because we own the software that helps you get emails from Facebook groups, we take a step beyond that to what is that thing that you need to do in order to really monetize from your group. And we figured it out. We figured how to do it. And we have a team of 6 coaches to help you along the way. And this might not be so different than a lot of other programs that you've seen. The unfair and unnatural advantage we have is the advantage of foresight. We actually, since we have so many of our subscribers giving us insight on what's really working, we have a closer pulse to the things that are the truth within Facebook groups and the changes in the Facebook group world, whether that's Mark Zuckerberg prioritizing hashtags like Glenn. He exploded his Facebook group by 60,000 members a month because of this hashtag phenomenon. Or like, how do you approach actually pitching a high ticket offer in the first month that you open up a Facebook group, where people actually say yes to you in 5 days. That sounds crazy, and that is doable. So, and the difference between how we approach it is we actually sit down with you and we actually figure out what it is that you should be saying to convert and what your offer should have to convert. Because it's one thing for you to come into a program and watch a bunch of videos and like assume like, oh, maybe I should do this, and then kind of get audited for it, which is, I think, generally like a lot of programs are. It's another thing to have the program actually say, okay, this is what you need to do exactly to convert, and this is how you do it. And that's what sets our program apart from all the other programs out there. If you want to have like more clarity and more of a conversation, make sure you reach out to Lydia on my team, and she will also be reaching out to you guys in this Facebook group, because every one of you guys joined in here to figure out how to monetize your Facebook group. And if you have a Facebook group right now of like even a few hundred, let's say 300 and above, and you haven't monetized it and you're sitting on this pot of gold, make sure that you do open up that conversation with us. We are here to help you. There is another level beyond just the Chrome extension, and we figured it out. We figured out how to help you add an extra 5 to 6 figures per month with your Facebook group. So, all right. Any last words, Lydia, before we hop off?
It's really nice to meet you guys. Like, honestly, I feel like sometimes when I send messages, you guys are like, who's this creep in my DM? Like, I promise I'm not creeping on you. But yeah, if you see a message from me, say hi. I don't bite, I promise. And I just like to connect with you guys. And at the end of the day, it's always about how can we genuinely help? If we can't genuinely help you, then obviously that's just what it is. But if we can genuinely help you, then it's kind of like unfair to not even attempt to like let you know that we can genuinely help you. So if you see me in your DM, say hi. Don't be scared. I don't bite. I'm very nice. But yeah, it was great talking to you guys today.
All right. And thank you, Lydia, for hopping in. You guys, don't be a stranger to Lydia. Go ahead and click on the link above in the description and send her a message and say, hey, let me learn. Let's have a chat. Let's have a conversation. It's not like what we want to do is, if we figured out the solution, like Lydia said, we figured it out. We figured it out for you guys. And you're in this to grow your Facebook group and monetize from your Facebook group, then let's just have a conversation. We might be able to help you. We don't know, depending on where you are. But if you're a good fit, then we can help you. And so, all right, guys, I'll see you later. If you're in my 5-day training, I'll see you later on today in the VIP session. Otherwise, I will see you in this group when I see you. We're going to have another team interview next week as well with Delia, who's also on my team. And yeah, so you guys get to know my team members. I'm going to be more present and more vocal about them. I know that you guys meet them usually after the fact, but we're becoming louder and louder about this now. So, all right, I'll see you guys, and thank you for showing up. All right. Oh yeah, if you like that video, then you will love all the resources that I have over at kimcdang.com. That is KIMCDANG.com. There you will find all my courses, my extensions, all the offers that I have, as well as a lot of free resources if you are just getting started.